Welcome, everyone, to the MedSpa Accelerator podcast brought to you by Cass Consulting and Everable Marketing. Today, I have with us, again, my beautiful wife, Mari Pili Menchaca. And we're going to be talking about social media. Specifically, we're going to be talking about Instagram strategies you should be using in your MedSpa. So, we brought Billy on so she can kind of give us her expert status. As you guys might already know or don't know yet, Billy handles all of our social media accounts for all of our clients here at Everable. And so she's going to talk today about Instagram and what you all should be doing.
Hey, everybody. So let's just get right on it because actually I have a bunch of stuff in here today.
Let's shoot. Go for it.
Okay. So the first thing, of course, that you need to think about Instagram is when you're creating content. And when you're creating content, make sure that you're thinking strategically. One of the main things that you want to think about is to have engaging content. So what is that, right? Everybody keeps telling you, you need to keep creating engaging content, but you don't know what it is. Well, it's something that people want to see and that they comment on. So we want them to stop their scroll. We want them to see what is it that you have to say. So whether that includes like a photo that is very vibrant in colors, that it kind of speaks to them, or also the caption, whatever you have in the caption, you want them to like stop that scrolling, right? And we're going to talk a little bit more of some of the things that you can create when you're thinking about that engaging content.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can also, the main things that you want them to do right now on Instagram is that you want people to comment on your post. You want them to stay on your post for at least 3 to 5 seconds so Instagram can keep putting your posts above everybody else's, right? Because now we don't do the chronological anymore. Like it's all about that engagement in the content.
Yeah, so you have to know like how the algorithm works so you can kind of better leverage that to your purpose. Right. So this is one of those hacks. Like you want people to spend at least, what was it, 3 seconds?
3 to 5 seconds.
3 to 5 seconds on your post, right? So that Instagram sees that someone actually is engaging with your content. So the next time when they open their Instagram, you're going to show up higher in that feed. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the ways that you can have them a little bit more interested in that content is creating like a video, right? You want to be dynamic. You want people to stop that scroll like we were talking about. And in Instagram, it's mainly for photos, right? A lot of people just post photos. So if you have a video, especially a video that's a little bit more dynamic, that's going to make people stop and kind of watch it at least to its completion. Mm-hmm. So maybe up to 15 seconds, that is great already. Like if you can have somebody stop their scroll for 15 seconds to watch your video, you're golden. But we want them to do that extra step and actually comment. So how can you do this? You can ask questions on your caption. Yeah. You can educate, but also can I ask what is it that they think about? Or you can also have like a list of stuff and ask them to add something onto that list. Maybe you want people to tag a friend or tell somebody about it. So all those little things are ways that people want to respond to that. Yeah, and you want to invite them to do so. It might not happen right away, but that's okay. Like don't feel like you should just stop if they're not answering right away. It's going to take some time, especially if you have never done this, for your audience to actually catch on and actually be serious that you want to know what they're thinking, right?
For sure.
But yeah, like making sure that your caption is longer enough. Like you might see already, like a lot of people, especially influencers, have really long captions. You don't have to be writing 5 paragraphs like they do. But the whole purpose why they are having such long captions and they're telling a story, it's because they want for you to open those little 3 dots and to read the whole caption, because the longer the time you're in that post, the better for them.
Yeah. So you're going to spend more time watching that. The algorithm's going to recognize it and they're going to stay there. Next time you're going to show up higher in that feed. Right. Now, a lot of like, you might be asking, well, how do I know what's engaging or not? Well, and that's the thing, like it is going to be like I want to call it like a test almost, right? Because you have to see what your audience resonates with, right? Like think about what somebody would really like to see, if they're interested in something that you offer. I mean, I personally would think, okay, well, I would really like to see like a demo or somebody getting a treatment, how that looks like. I would want to see like results, before and afters, different things like that. I would want more education on specific things. That's my opinion.
You can also base it off like your frequently asked questions from your actual patients.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah. So like, what are people asking you once they come in for the consult? Whatever they ask of you, create a video, create a post out of that. You know, that's super, super important, super valuable. It's some good advice right there. And then the other thing is like, see what works and see what doesn't. Like, I mean, post as, you know, a bunch, and then see what gets the most response, the highest response, see what gets the most, you know, taps or whatever, right? The most engagement. And then as you start doing that, it'll take you some time, but then you'll start to see what really works. And then you can start refining your content to make it better and better. So that's really good.
Definitely. Yes. So the other strategy you want to be using for your MedSpa right now, it's engaging other people's feeds. So Instagram, if you just post in there, leave it, go, it's gonna know. Like actually there is a whole analytic, like if you go into the insights of Instagram, it'll tell you how long you've spent on Instagram that day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that does affect how the algorithm is gonna work for you. So yes, you don't have to be on Instagram like all the time for it to work for you, but we do recommend for you to spend like maybe 10 minutes every day or every other day at least, and just respond to your own comments. Like if you're already asking a question, make sure to respond to those
super
users.
Important. Yeah.
Very important, because they're gonna keep commenting on your stuff because they know that you care. So responding to comments, but also go into your audience's feeds. Like go to your feed and then just kind of start seeing who is it that's following you. Get to know them. And so we like to call this the 3 like 1 comment rule. So you can go into one of your, like somebody that's already been liking your post, go into their feed, their profile, and then like their first 3 photos and comment on one of them. What this is going to do is that you're going to appear on their notifications 4 times, liking their pictures and commenting.
Nice.
So immediately they're going to be like, hey, this person is interested. They're going to go ahead and see your feed. So it's important that you already have your engaging content there, because if they see that, then it's more than likely that they're going to start scrolling into your feed, kind of see what other services you have, and start kind of like getting a little
stalking
bit,
you, for lack of a better word.
Yes,
that's what's really going on here. Let's just be honest.
Yes, great way to point out saying it. So definitely doing something like that, but and just making sure you're interacting with your audience. Like you might just have maybe like 300 followers. That's okay. Make sure that you know those 300 followers as much as you can, just because those 300 people, you can already have a really good patient list from there.
Yeah.
So if there are people that actually live near where you're at, they like your services, they're potential candidates, just make sure that you're keep engaging with them. They probably have friends of friends that might tell them like, hey, have you checked this out? So if your goal for that month specifically is just to create more engagement, this is a great way of doing that. Now, the other thing that you can do with engaging in people's feeds is interacting in the stories. So like I said, take some time out of your day, maybe just 10 minutes a day. You can just go to people's feeds, start liking, commenting, and also go to your stories and start interacting with people. If they post about their kid's birthday party, or, they had a promotion at work, whatever it might be, just go in there. It's super simple. You don't have to do a lot of comments. There's always like the icons that you can just press in them, and they'll get that notification. You can go a little bit further than that and just say like, hey, happy birthday, whatever it might be. And like I said, just put 10 minutes a day. So that way it's not overwhelming for you. And after 10 minutes, just close the app. You might not answer to everybody, but it's a starting point.
Answer them the next day or something like that if you want. But here's the other thing. So what do you think about like those like softwares out there that like do auto commenting? Like I know we've all experienced it. All of a sudden you get a comment from somebody and it's like, this looks so beautiful, and it's like the most random post ever, so it doesn't really make sense, and they're just using some automation out there, like some bot, really. So I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
Personally, I don't like them. I
Yeah.
think they're so impersonal.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I prefer for somebody to, like, the whole point of the social media should be like for people to know that there's a person behind the screen,
Yeah.
that there's somebody that actually cares about you, about your results, about their service, that they're passionate about what they're doing. I feel like nowadays that attracts more than everything being
Yeah. I know every time I see
right.
those, just like ignore those, you know?
Yeah, because they've been around for a while, so
Yeah.
people already know like this is not even real.
For
Or when
sure.
they just comment with just an emoji, like you already know, like they didn't really
Give
put
something
much
of
effort.
value, guys. Yeah, give something of value. Say something actually meaningful that actually resonates with, that goes in line with whatever the post, the picture is, the video is, whatever, you know? So
Yes. Because if you're gonna comment on people's photos, just make sure to read the caption at least, so you know what you're talking about.
For sure.
And it just shows a little bit more of, you know, like a personal touch, and it just.
So even going back to like our philosophy with marketing and advertising, it's always based off building relationships, you know, and our business philosophy goes back down to, we don't do business with businesses. We do business with people, and we do business with people we know, we like, and we trust. So if you can get somebody to like you through digital media, through, you know, advertising, through marketing, social media, all that stuff, and that's a win, guys, because if they like you, it is most likely they're going to do business with you. I talk about this constantly. It is a fundamental of business. It's been around. You guys have probably heard of it, but nobody really kind of follows their own advice, or, you know, even though they've heard this millions of times, they don't really actually do it in their marketing or advertising. So it's like, come on, let's get it together. You know, so that's part of what we do. That's how we do marketing in our own agency. So it's super important.
Yeah, and we've had people that like come into like the practices, and they feel like they already know the people there, and they're like, "Hey, you're the one from Instagram." Like they kind of feel that, you know, it gets that sense of like, I kind of already know you, like even though we've never met in person.
And so I'll share a story like with Cassie. Cassie's couldn't be here with us today, but like Cassie has told me, given me some of her experiences where like she'll go to the grocery store or she's at some restaurant, and people will just walk up to her and be like, "Hey, you're that girl from the Facebook videos, right?" You know, like, and like you're talking about cool scoping, and like, that's what we want, guys. Like, that's what we want. When people see you or they think of cool scoping, like they think you know what I mean? Like, they think about MedSpas or different things like that. That's what we call like hitting, you know, that local celebrity, you know, kind of reaching that expert status, right, in your like community. And so, I mean, it's awesome. That's what we want. So, you know, you're building that relationship with somebody, even though you're like, they feel like they know you, but you don't know them. It's just like kind of like, it's so weird, but it happens all the time, right? Because like, I know it's like when I, you know, like I'm fangirling like specific videos of like this one person like on YouTube or whatever, and it's like I start feeling like I know this person, but in reality I don't. But that's the dynamic, like that's the like that we want to create. Like, I don't know what's the best way to describe it, but like that's the feeling that we want to create with you and our clients, where it's like they feel like they know you without you actually ever meeting them. But that's the thing, they start liking you, they start trusting you, so it is most likely they're going to do business with you at one point in time or another.
Definitely. And actually this goes really well along with like our next strategy, which is creating those Instagram stories. Because one thing is like you just posting a photo or a video every so often on Instagram. I mean, I would say kind of daily, at least 5 times a week. But the Instagram stories kind of like take your relationship with your audience to a whole other level. Like it kind of, they can see you on the daily, how you are. You can put a little bit more of like your actual personality into these.
Authenticity is so big,
which is really good, because next time when they read a post and they read a caption, they're almost going to read it in your own voice.
Oh, yes.
Which is really good.
That's huge.
That's something that we want them to know. So yeah, like, and you don't.
But sorry, think about the power of that. Like, think about it literally when they're reading some of your posts, they're actually playing it in your own voice. That's kind of magical, you know. It's very powerful when like literally kind of building authority with somebody, because you already like imagining how their voice sounds. Like, I don't know, like I can't quantify it, right? You know, I don't have any like statistics on it or anything, but I mean, that's making
It
an
just
impact
takes your
right there.
relationship to another level.
Yeah, yeah, I guess we can say that. Yeah.
And they start engaging. So maybe they're not ready to buy right there and then, but they keep seeing you, they keep seeing that. And they're like, whenever I have the money or whenever I have the time, or if I know somebody that needs that service, they're going to recommend you because they
Yeah.
already know you. So yeah, definitely. And I mean, Instagram stories is a whole other like aspect on itself, but don't overthink it too much. Like that's why if you haven't heard our episode about your social media strategy, go ahead and listen to that.
Yes.
Because we kind of talk about how you can make these a little bit easier for you and kind of plan them so it's not as overwhelming and you have to be posting like every single time. Of course, Instagram stories, like you might want to do them at the moment, like it's okay. And the cool thing about it is that it's just raw footage and it disappears in 24 hours. So if you feel like, I don't know if I want to be on video, like I don't know if people are going to like me, I don't know like what to say, it's okay, guys. Like it's just going to disappear in 24 hours. So
so
no
big
deal.
With that. And that's a good way for you to practice. And that's the thing, like a lot of what's Instagram, like social media is, it's like just like it's a documentary, like, you know, think about it like a documentary, like on, you know, wherever, right, on Netflix or just like a movie or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's literally what it is. It's you talking about your life, what's going on at the MedSpa, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't have, like, it could literally just be random content. Like, you know, we obviously want you to create a strategy around it, but even at that, like, a big part of it is also just putting out content, people to see you, documenting what is going on today, you know, like who did something funny today or what happened today, what was really cool today, you know, what type of coffee did you drink today, what did you eat today, you know, like
letting them in to the practice, like in the daily. So if you have somebody's birthday and you already have a scheduled post on that with a picture, a cute picture of them, like with their cake or whatever that might be, like let them into the practice. Like maybe you actually got them like a cake and they were blowing the candles, everybody was singing happy birthday, like those little moments that you might think like it doesn't really have anything to do with my business and my services, but it does have to do with your people. So putting those out there like on Instagram stories, it's a great way to interact, making it a little bit more personable for somebody else.
Yeah. So again, going back to our business philosophy, right? Like that authenticity is just, and think about relationships, like how are relationships built? Well, relationships aren't necessarily built on you trying to sell something to someone, right? You know, they're built on like just educating and just talking, like literally, like just talking about your life, what's going on with you, what's going on with them. Like, you know, that's how relationships start. So think about like social media in this aspect, in this kind of frame of mind, because it's going to allow you to be more free with the type of content that you're putting out there. So really, really big.
Yeah. And then just going back to, I mean, some of the stuff that you can do for your practice. I mean, aside from like the personal stuff is also talk about like your specials, talk about the new technology, answer questions that people might be having. And you can do this, if you do this through video, it just like speaks in a whole other level. But you can also do some graphics. So you can post your before and afters, which I actually do recommend for you to do this more on Instagram stories than your actual posts, just because Facebook sometimes has a lot of like, I mean, rules and regulations with posting certain content. So especially if you're going to do before and afters of cool sculpting, and it's like the abdomen or it's like the bra fat or whatever, like those parts of the body, it might later on be a little bit harder if you want to like advertise on Facebook.
So I'll speak a little bit about this, right? So like, so, you know, obviously we do a lot of advertising through Facebook and Instagram. And so one of the scenarios that we come across is that like when you're doing advertising, like Facebook and, you know, the ad platforms are looking at everything. They're not just looking at your ads and, you know, how much engage, you know, how many likes you're getting, how many comments, how many leads you're getting, all that stuff. It's looking at everything, you know, so it's looking at your Facebook page, it's looking at your Instagram page, like what type of engagement, you're looking at your reviews, it's looking at your photos. And so I've had situations where we can get ads approved literally because the page has already been flagged for like inappropriate content. And so we're not saying it's not, you know, okay for you to post before and after photos, but just try to be like a little bit more conservative with that. And like Billy said, it's better a lot of times if you post them like on your website, post them on your stories, because there people will see them and then they just go away, and so we don't want to get your fan page flagged, because at that point it's just like this whole entire process of trying to get it unflagged. And honestly, and it can actually be very difficult
getting
sometimes.
Your costs down.
Oh yeah, and so here's the other thing too, like even your cost per lead, like a lot of the times the fact that like you might have like not so great content, like let's say you're not getting a lot of engagement, you're not getting a lot of likes and stuff like that, that actually will affect your quality score. So like your relevance score on Facebook. So like Facebook has a relevance score of 1 through 10, and the higher it is, it means that content is relevant to that audience. So the higher it is, then Facebook is actually going to make it cheaper for you to advertise. But the actual the opposite can happen, where it can make it, if your content doesn't resonate, it can actually make it more expensive for you. Right? So we've had situations where clients have gotten their fan pages flagged, or they're not doing a great job of like engaging with their audience. And as much as we try to optimize, their cost per lead is still, can be still a little bit high, because of the fact that Facebook's looking at everything you're doing, and not just how your ad is performing.
Yet we know like the importance of before and afters, like people want to see. It's definitely proof, right? So the strategic way that you can go about that is putting them, like Luis said, in your website, of course, but also on your stories. And you can have those like Instagram highlights. So have a highlight that's all about your before and afters, or you can divide them into services. So you put them there and they won't disappear after the 24 hours.
Tell people what highlights are, because I'm sure that some people might not know what the highlights are.
So on your Instagram profile, you have your stories, but underneath like your bio, there are little circles. Or maybe if you don't have them set in yours, you can see some other people's that they have the little circles. Those are the Instagram highlights that come from, it's feed from your story that stays on your profile. Like it stays pinned in there. So you can have content like for, I don't know if there's a time limit yet on it, but I've seen stuff from like 2 years ago. So,
I think that'll stay for the most part.
Cool. So, and it's really good because you can have them there. People will see them right, like before they even start scrolling on your feed or on your profile, they can see them right there and then. And then the last strategy I have for Instagram, which is something that we are still kind of like diving a lot more into, but we've already started, is following local bloggers and celebrities. We know that influencer marketing is a thing. Like we've all maybe had some sort of interaction. We know that it works up to a certain point, but some of the steps that you can start to create your influencer marketing is start looking for bloggers and for celebrities in your area.
Local celebrities. So what we mean by that is like, who are the beauty gurus? Who are the fitness gurus? The mom bloggers. Like, local celebrities can also be like, people in the news. It could also be people that news anchors. People that kind of write for like culture and like lifestyle, radio personalities, all that stuff. But I mean, you can go after like those people, and you can go after the people that are like a little bit more niched in the sense, like again, like I said, the beauty gurus, the fitness people, all that
fitness
stuff.
Instructors, stuff like that. So there's a specific way of how we can find them, and I don't know if we can do something about that later on.
Let us know if you want us to do an episode on that. How about that?
Yeah. Let us know for sure.
Comment on our Facebook group.
Yes, or if you're watching this on YouTube, comment below. But one of the first steps is kind of finding them on Instagram and then interacting with them. You don't have to be like super aggressive and just DM them right there and then, or direct message them right there and then. But you can start interacting with them with some of this other stuff that we were talking about. So just go into their feeds, do the 3 likes and 1 comment, but read their captions, read what is it that they like. One, it's going to make you know, like it's going to help you know if they are somebody that could potentially use your services and be an influence in other people, like in their audience. But 2, you're going to start interacting with them in a more subtle way that's going to make them notice you, which is really good. Like you're not aggressive. You're not like, hey, I need this. This is a business deal. But you're actually like interacting, which eventually they could become like an ideal and long-term patient for you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, guys. So that was a lot of content. Go ahead and watch the episode again and take a look at all the strategies that we talked about so you can implement in your Instagram marketing. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're always here to help you guys. Join the Facebook group. Go to Facebook, type in MedSpa Accelerator, or click the link here in the show notes. And join us on Facebook, guys. If you have questions, go ahead and comment on there. Direct message us or tag us or whatever, and we'll try to get we will get your questions answered. Leave us a review. And yeah, I don't know, any last words or anything?
Well, I just want to know what the audience wants to know about social media. Like, do you guys have any specific questions or something that you want us to do the episode about?
Yeah, so let us know, send us a message, and we'll create some content, a new episode on that. Thank you guys for joining us today, and we'll catch you all next week.
Bye.